translation. The only other thing I can recommend, and I remember doing this with my own daughter, is start practicing in August, and perhaps sooner if you'd like, with the lunch. Have them sit down and see what they can open on their own, so they can be as independent as possible when they arrive. And we certainly will help if they're struggling with getting a package open or something like that. But we know that kids feel good when they're able to be independent. So I used to sit my daughter down at the table in the month before she started kindergarten, and she would eat her lunch out of the container. And again, we welcome all languages because we want to foster the multilingualism that exists in our school. We have 2 lunch breaks at our 2 nutritional breaks. Each one is 20 minutes long. So we have a number of different strategies for kids, whether it be just simple A and B. So you can label it with eat this one at first break, this one at second break. Sometimes kids eat all their lunch in the first break, and we get kids to we have extra food for them, but sometimes we just have to say, okay, we might need to get some more because they seem to eat lots. Okay. One of the things is the school is a nut-free zone. And sometimes if there is another life-threatening allergy in your child's class, we've had eggs, dairy is sometimes life-threatening. And that's then we will send home that information in the first few days so that you are aware of that for your child's class. And sometimes there are classrooms that may require additional requirements for the safety of all students. And again, that's something that is communicated by the educators during the first few days of school. Going back to the clothing for kindergarten, we can't say enough how labeling it all is saves a lot of lost items. Velcro running shoes is another thing to consider. Some kids come to school able to tie laces, but they also come undone and then have to get redone. So sometimes Velcro is our greatest friend. Warm and waterproof mittens. We do have a lot of puddles on the yard, and kids love puddles. Who's kidding who? In your extra bag, pack a couple of extra pairs of pants, socks, underwear, and shirts. Label everything. I think that theme is coming through loud and clear. Another part of our school is School Cash Online because we are a paperless school. So this is an account to get started. We didn't have this year. We didn't have any pizza days or we've done pasta in the past. But if you want that for your child, which you find out about in our school newsletter or emails home from the office, then you just register here at Simcoe County School Cash Online, and you can access that also through the Admiral Collingwood website. On the first few days, forms come home, and there are a number of forms that we need back as quickly as possible. So you get a whole package of things to come back. So while it says we're a paperless school, you're going to get a number of papers in the first few days. Student absence. So if your child is going to be away, please call us. And when you dial at the school number, it will give you, I believe you press 1 to leave a message on the Safe Arrival line, and you can leave that message at any time, even if it's 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. And then when we get into the office, we check those, and that just counts for your attendance. So if you want to sign up for something called Safe Arrival, that is basically if we don't get a message and your child is absent, then a phone call goes home. You can opt out of that if you choose. Volunteering. If you are considering volunteering at the school, again, this year was an enigma, but go online for volunteering at the Simcoe County website, the scdsb.on.ca. Because if you need a criminal record check, you might want to start that process now. There's a backlog with that, and it has to be completed in September 2021, but you can start the process sooner if you like. Some jobs that we have for volunteering, we do have our school council, which is a fantastic way to have your voice heard for the school, and it's a great group of people. We talk about what we want to do in order to fundraise, like what are we fundraising for. We also talk about just things like transforming learning spaces is one of the things that we've raised money for, changes on the yard. And because right now we've fundraised enough for something called a Gaga Ball pit. So we're waiting for that to come in. We've also just installed a new wood shop in our library. Don't worry, nobody in kindergarten will be accessing the wood shop. And there's just always making sure that we're moving forward with keeping kids engaged in learning at the school. Medical. If your child has a medical condition that we need to be aware of, then a plan of care needs to be completed by you. And again, that's another form that comes home at the beginning of the year. And if we do need a plan of care for something like anaphylaxis, diabetes, then your doctor has to complete that, okay? Busing information. So the home to bus school bus information was given to eligible families during the registration process. And please be aware, if this is your first child attending school, that there are times that the buses are late, and making sure you have a quick access to the school bus website is advisable. Also follow Twitter at the SCSTC school bus. And also whenever a school bus is late, we post it on our Twitter page. And here are all of those connections, the Twitter, our school website. And then in addition to that, each classroom has their own way of connecting. And again, another thing you'll be finding out about in the first few days of the school year. Each classroom has a team of educators, and they will communicate their method of communicating with you electronically. And whenever something arises, it's advisable to always contact the educators in your child's classroom. And each classroom is unique, yet follows the practices and expectations of the kindergarten program, which is Document for Ontario. And in our kindergarten program, especially at Admiral, I'm very pleased to say students are outside every day. So please, and that's rain or shine. So please dress appropriately for the outside weather. We also have a stash of clothes or a cache of clothes for students who might not have what they need, and we're happy to help them out. Sometimes they get too wet at one recess, so we help them out at the next one. And but we're outside every day. The school backs onto a trail, and the kids are outside. They explore the Wonder Wagons, head out with different materials to go check things out, and it's very fun. One of the things we practice is self-regulation every day, and we encourage your child to be independent with all of the things like lunch, shoes, jackets, so getting in the zipper club, and all their belongings. So making sure that things go back in the backpack. Every student has a cubby, so they have a place to put their things, and we generally have a place to put extra clothes. So they don't have to cart those back and forth all the time. And their indoor shoes stay at school, but things that come back and forth are good to practice those skills. We do go through a lot of Kleenex and paper towels. So if you are so inclined, a donation is always appreciated. Okay, so every kindergarten classroom has educator teams. So there is the regular classroom teacher, and then also a designated early childhood educator, or a DECE. The educators work together to plan and teach the kindergarten program. And that kindergarten is a 2-year program. So every class is made up of year 1 and year 2 students. So it's what we call them with the kindergarten program. But please, we generally fall back to junior kindergarten, senior kindergarten for just communicating sometimes. It's old habits die hard, I guess you could say. And now you get to meet